I thought to myself that the missing link in this world today is empowerment. People just are living in deep amnesia about who they are. They completely forgot, they've been conditioned to believe they are just this small little being, where in actuality they are much more. Hello everyone, this is Kevlan, and in today's video I want to talk about my book, The Science of Breaking Free. I want to just go over the book and the reason why I decided to write this book, how did I get inspired to write the book, how long did it take to write the book, and then I'm going to go over the different part of the book and just explain to you what is the book about and how this book can help you reach your next potential. So I published this book in July of 2024, so a year ago, and the name of the book is The Science of Breaking Free. If you don't know what is the book about, I left the link down below in the description and you can just go for yourself and check it on Amazon for yourself. But so for years I went through my healing journey and I was starting to question everything that I think I knew. And I was just doing some research and starting to listening to people and like reading myself many different books and starting to expand my mind, expand my understanding of myself as well as the world I live in. And that's really how it started. It took me years just to go over all of this. And as I was starting to expand more and more my mindset, I came to the realization that we are the one we've been waiting for. I came to the realization that everything is within and we are the one that is shaping our reality or our life. And I went through so many different information that was really empowering for me to understand and expand my mind and understand my understanding. And I've always had this mindset of having this left brain and the right brain, and those two different worlds where, on the left brain it's more like about science and the Cartesian mind and you want to explain everything, and on the other hand I always felt more connected to something else, to something more powerful, to something beyond the realm of understanding. And I always wanted to associate both worlds together. I didn't really understand why in one hand there is a story given by science and on the other hand there is another story given by spirituality or religion or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to unify both knowledge or both understanding into one. And I came to the realization as I was starting to go through my own journey and going through my own research and my own reading and listening to people in general, I came to the realization that both worlds are not contradictory. They are in fact working together, and more than ever now science is actually going in the same direction as whatever people, master initiates, they've been sharing with us for thousands of years, whatever knowledge they've been sharing with us. But what I wanted to unify is the fact that this knowledge shared by ancient masters, initiates, ancient civilizations, this wisdom that they shared for thousands of years with people who wanted to listen, it was more based on belief system. Someone was telling us, hey, this is what it is. It was just based on a belief system. And I wanted to change that and go from a belief system to a knowing system. And what is the best way to go from a belief system to a knowing system is to unify science and more tangible information, more information that people would trust, especially now in the world we live in, with this ancient knowledge, ancient teaching that was taught by ancient masters, initiates for thousands of years. And that was really the first catalyst for me to write a book. I've never believed, or if someone would have told me 5 years ago, hey, you're going to write a book, I would have just laughed and say, I'm not a writer and I don't have no intention whatsoever to write a book. But everything changes when I went through a meditation one time, and that was kind of the catalyst for me to write a book. Is I went into this meditation and I went deep into this meditation, and I started to connect myself with my guides. And at that time I had questions about the path I wanted to take, or the direction I should go to, to start sharing my messages and to start sharing my knowledge. I didn't know really where to start and how to start. So that was something that I had in my mind, and that was something that I kept asking my guides or the universe to show me the way on where I should go and how I should do it. And during that time, during the meditation, I had no intention of, during that specific meditation, to find, or get answers. But that was a meditation where I just connected with my guides, and I had this vision of seeing my guides, and I didn't see their faces, but I saw a silhouette. I saw this light being, and they were wearing those very big white gown with a silver belt. And I remember really being focused as I was meditating and watching them. They were 2 or 3 people. I can't even recall exactly how many there were. But all I remember is me focusing and looking at their belt, because it was so shiny and it was just so, I don't know, it was so mesmerizing just to see their silhouette with their gown and their silver belt. And as I was meditating and had this vision, and I started to have this knowing inside of me that I had to write a book. And I didn't know where to start. And as I said, I've never been a writer myself. I've never thought that I'll be writing a book. But I started to have this knowing from inside that I had to start writing a book. And as I was going through my meditation, I saw myself. I actually saw that book. So I didn't really see the title exactly, but I saw the color, and I saw it was basically looking like this. And I saw the color blue, a little bit darker, and kind of the size of it. And I was holding it. I was holding in myself as my God was talking to me. I was just holding that book. And that's how everything started for me. Is I got this inspiration to write a book. And as soon as I was done this meditation, everything became clear, and I said, okay, I'm gonna write a book. I felt that willpower, like it was time for me to start this writing journey. So obviously going from there to get into the actual writing journey, it's obviously full of challenges, because again, it was my first book, so I didn't even know where to start and how to start. But because I got inspired during my meditation, every time I was turning a new chapter, or I was facing my blank page and say, okay, I need to start, I got some inspiration. And everything, like, it took me 16 months roughly to write the book, just because of my lifestyle and all the stuff I had to do at the same time. But so it took me 16 months to write this book, and overall I really enjoyed the process. I enjoyed writing the book, because as I was writing the book, and I was really grouping all the knowledge and all the things that I've learned myself, and that I've been empowering myself and expanding my understanding, my mind about who I am, and really starting like the transformation from the inside out. I also went very deep as I was writing the book into publication and trying to find the science associated with, certain knowledge and certain understanding, or certain thing that was taught by ancient teachings for a very long time. So I went deep, and it obviously helped me as I was going through this writing journey to really put even more tangible information towards those different teachings. So if you don't know what the book about, the book is really about the science of breaking free. And as I was, or before even writing this book, to me, when I was looking at the world and I say, okay, the world is going into, it's very hard to see harmony in this world we live in right now. We see chaos, we see separations, we see competition everywhere we look at. And as I was going to this self-empowerment journey, and I was trying to, I was going through this, I was empowering myself by reading and getting this knowledge that was waking me up from that amnesia. I thought to myself that the missing link in this world today is empowerment. People just are living in deep amnesia about who they are. They completely forgot. They've been conditioned to believe they are just this small little being, where in actuality they are much more. And as a matter of fact, now there is tangible information going to that direction. So that was kind of the main idea. Is I wanted to empower people by showing them and by bringing forward knowledge, bringing forward empowering information based on science, because I was like, it has to be tangible. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same thing as those belief systems, the same thing as those ancient teachings where people were talking about certain things, but until you realize it, you don't understand it. So I wanted to really start and presenting the same information, but using science, more tangible information, so that people could listen more and then start to be more willing to dive deeper into that, that understanding or that information. So that's really the reason behind why I decided to write this book and why I decided to call it The Science of Breaking Free, because again, all of this is an aggregate of different science, different empowering knowledge based on science. And I put all the references, there's all the literature and the information. So it's not like I'm claiming anything. I'm just leveraging those different science to show you that you are much more than what you think you are. And then bridging it with ancient teachings, so that you can understand that whatever they taught us for thousands of years was not just fluff, was not just mumbo jumbo, mysticism or metaphysics fluff. No, it's actually tangible information, and now science is talking about it. So that's kind of the reason why I decided to write this book. And so if I just talk a little bit about the book is divided in 4 parts. The first part is what I call exploration into our reality, and it's really where I bring forward science and information to explain to you what is the structure of a reality, and to explain to you that we are not separated from it, but in reality, our consciousness is shaping the reality that we live in. And I'm just, using different sciences, quantum physics and cymatics, and I talk about sacred geometry, and I talk about fractal geometry, and then consciousness and the cycle of consciousness. So that's what I talk about in this first part, to really bring forward why we are not separated from our reality, but we are fully integrated with it, and with our consciousness, we are actually shaping the world around us. So I wanted to bring that forward, and as well as bringing forward, sacred geometry, and showing you that the world around us is not random, but is in fact highly structured based on mathematical order and sacred geometric patterns. So I talk about that in the first part, because I like myself, as I was writing this book, I was like, we need to understand what is our reality, because we cannot be afraid of it, we cannot see separated from it, we cannot be a victim of it. And I just wanted to show you that we are the ones shaping our reality with our consciousness. Then the second part of this book is where I go through exploration to self, and that's where I bring knowledge and science about who you really are before society tells you who you are. So I talk about consciousness, I talk about the energy body, the biofield, I talk about neuroscience and the mind and subconscious mind and the brain waves. I talk about so many different like epigenetics and so many other, like I talk about the nature of a disease, and I talk about food, and I talk about so many different information or so many different topics. But again, all those topics, the common point is really to empower you by expanding your understanding of who you really are as a human being. And again, you don't have to be a scientist to understand this book, because even if I mention epigenetics or neuroscience or quantum physics, I just stay in a very simple way, because the goal is for everyone to understand it. So I don't go deeper, I don't talk about equations, I don't go into very deep aspect of the science. I just bring forward this information in a very simplified way, and there's all the references for the people they want to go much deeper. You can just check all those references, but for the people they just want to have this understanding without getting too much deeper into the science, it's a perfect combination. Then the third part of this book is what I called From Science to Empowerment, because in the first two parts I really bring forward, a knowledge and empowering knowledge based on science. But it's just to develop this framework. And now that you have this framework based on all this new knowledge, then is how can you use this to, start empowering yourself in your everyday life, and how can you see now your life from a different lens, and how can you, start acting and start behaving in a different way, and how can you start changing your lifestyle based on this new information I brought. And the last part of this book, part number 4, is really about inner transformation and healing. So I talk about a lot of my personal journey. There's an entire chapter where I talk about the different healing stages that I went through and I'm still going through right now, and the different modalities that I've been implementing into my life in order to aligning and embodying this knowledge and this information that I got before talking about the future and talking about how we can help future generations to have access to this knowledge so that they can be empowered from a young age and not go through that transformation that we have to go through from unlearning everything to relearning all the information. And again, there's all the references for the people really interested into the science and they want to go much deeper into the understanding of the science. So, there is all those references at the end of the book. So that's kind of the book in a nutshell. So if you want to know more and if you're interested in the book, I left the link in the description down below. Just check it out on Amazon and you can have access to read the introduction so that you know a little bit better what it is about and how it is organized. In addition, if you have any other topics you want me to talk about in the future, or if you want me to share some more information about my book, left a comment below and just share your thoughts, share whatever you want me to talk about in future videos, or if you're interested in the book. If you're interested in what I've been talking about in this channel, I invite you to subscribe to my channel using the link down below or the button down below. Please smash the like button. It always helps with getting the video more visible. Share the video with your friends and family if you think they can be interested in this book and this book can really help them transform them from the inside out. And for now, I'll see you in the next one.